That's where we're at right now. It's looking good, but you just got to drill. And that's kind of where we're at, and hence the money's a great timing for that.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today, I'm delighted to be joined once again by Gareth Thomas, who is the President, CEO, and Director of Westhaven Gold Corp. Gareth, great to see you today.
Great to see you, Leo. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now, Westhaven Gold, you have an extensive program of exploration across the Spence's Bridge Gold Belt, which is about, I believe, sort of 2 to 3 hours outside of Vancouver. And you've been focusing on your 3 projects there, the Shovelnose, Skoonka, and Prospect Valley. 2020 has been an interesting year, I guess, for the company, but you've recently, your most recent news is you've raised, I think, was it $15 million? And so that's sort of setting you up quite nicely, I guess, for 2021. What are your plans for the year ahead?
Yeah, well, we got 2 rigs turning now. We announced that early February. We started with our first rig on the FMN zone, which we had some success very late last year. And that's between the Franz and the South zone. So we got a drill there, and we got our second rig, which started up on February 15th on the South zone, where we've had success, I should say, starting in late 2018 with 17.7 meters at 24.5 grams per ton gold. Followed it up with some other really nice intercepts, and now we're with, as you mentioned there, the money we recently raised. We're going to allocate some of that into defining a maiden resource. So we got a drill turning there, but it's not so much infill drilling there. It's still stepping out to see the extent of what the South zone could be. We have an idea, hence why we're moving towards a resource, but we think there's still significant growth there. So we're drilling there currently. We've done 2 step-out holes, and it's looking very interesting, where we're seeing some very nice mineralization, well, hopefully mineralized, very nice veining where in areas where maybe we weren't quite expecting something that broad. So nice start down to the South zone, and yeah, the FMN towards the Franz, where we had discovered that outcrop on surface last year. We're going to be spending a lot of time with the rigs up in that area as well. There's a big gap to connect there, and of course, a lot of the time you got to figure this stuff out with the drill bit, but that's where we're starting, and lots of other plans as well for the remainder of the property, which I can touch on shortly as well.
Yeah, that FMN discovery. What sort of grades and intersections were you getting there?
We had about a 5 meter intercept. Mineable widths, 6 meters of about 4.5 grams per ton gold. But notably, we're getting some very high silver numbers in there, which in these epithermal systems can be indicative of where you are in the system. So still trying to figure out, as it's relatively new, exactly the fact that we're getting what I call mineable intercepts there, mineable widths. We're still very new days there and trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There's a lot of post-mineral faulting. So Peter and our technical team are doing a great job in sort of seeing what's going on there. And as we make our way towards the Franz, heading to the northwest, and Franz remains open to the northwest as well. But there's about an 800 meter gap that where the Franz hits, then we move on towards the Franz. So there's a lot of drilling to be done there, but what we're seeing is a lot of all the sort of key ingredients you want in these epithermal systems. It's just sort of kind of where we were before we hit the South zone. Is you've seen lots of good looking vein. It's starting to come together there, and where is that bonanza hit gonna be? So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's looking good, but you just got to drill, and that's kind of where we're at, and hence the money's a great timing for that.
Absolutely. And at the Franz zone, how much drilling has been done?
We discovered that in late August, so it really quite new in terms of these for a new discovery, and that being found by prospecting, kind of the old school technique, if you will. And it's a lot of things are found otherwise these days, but yeah. So we've drilled, about I'd say about a dozen holes there now, with our top hit there being almost 8 meters of almost 15 grams per ton gold. We've now extended that, as mentioned, to the northwest about 600 meters to hole SN 2124, which we mentioned in our news release just towards the end of last year. What's significant about that hole is that what Peter and our team is seeing there is that we hit about a 4.7 meter wide calcite carbonate vein, which actually ran about 3.5 meters of 0.7 grams per ton gold. Nothing that we're used to seeing, nothing, no barn burner there. But what it was a very good indication that we're probably above something there. And we can now tell from some of the geophysics we did last year, which we'll be having a big update on that soon too, as we diligently go through all this data. But we can see from the drilling and from the geophysics that it appears that this is being downfaulted. So next setup there, which will be very, very soon in the coming weeks at Franz, will be chasing this thing underneath there, as we think we're a little bit high up in the system, which is evident in that 4.7 meter carbonate vein. But the fact there's gold in it, it looks good. We're hoping we're just sort of in the cusp and on top of something there.
Mm. And to go back to the south zone, well, you had your initial discoveries. What are your plans for 2021 for that? You mentioned you're hoping to get a sort of resource out on that one at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret to people who follow us and our shareholders and people who've been with this story for a while, is we had some very good intercepts there, as mentioned just earlier here in 2018, 2019. Didn't drill there much last year in the south zone, as we wanted to find more south zones, if you will. It sounds very easy, but we're trying to find additional ounces in something in these sort of epithermal systems. They can often occur in vein swarms, and finding the Franz and the FMN, and even on top of that, the Lear zone, which we haven't talked a lot about, which is something we're also going to be following up on this year. But 3 new zones in a year was a big thing for us. So we're great to follow up on those, but we're also keen to go back to the south zone, where there's certainly ounces to build there. And I think a lot of people, as mentioned, following the story, want to see something a little more hard or just a bit more evident of what is actually there. So we have a pretty good idea, and then a lot of people tell us what they think is there. And I think for us to go down this route to get at least an inferred resource is something that's it's a milestone, but I think it's a nice sort of it's a way of confidence, to give people confidence of what's there.
So have you got a plan of how many meters you'd be looking to drill this year?
Yeah, so we're last year we drilled just to back up to last year, we drilled just over 43,000 meters, all at Shovelnose. This year we got a similar budget allocated, and about a third of that would be towards doing the resource drilling. We're in the process, and have been since January, of taking a closer look at what we got drilled already in terms of spacings, what is needed to get to that inferred mark, what's needed to get to the indicated, measured and indicated as well. So we're kind of just doing a study on that right now, which we should have out soon. But yeah, we're looking at a similar sort of number to last year. And at the same time, we're looking to drill our Skoonka project, which you touched on at the start here. That's a project we've yet to drill, and we'd really like to drill, as it hasn't been drilled since 2007. And that was the first real high-grade intercept on this whole entire belt. So we're keen to get to there. Hopefully, we're hoping in late spring, early summer, to get to Skoonka as well. So that will add, we're looking to drill about 3,000 to 4,000 meters there on Skoonka as well. So between the two projects, and of course, the majority of our focus here is the Shovelnose, but we certainly want to see what's at Skoonka as well. So it's going to be a very busy year with the drill bit. Still very much a drill bit story, exploration story, if you will. But the resource is something, we've kind of gotten a good amount of info from people saying it would be a nice thing to have. So we think if it's money well spent, it's certainly worthwhile for the value of where we're at.
And I mean, one interesting thing to note is that your drill bits are already turning. I mean, some projects in Canada have problems with the weather, obviously having to shut down for the winter, but that's not the case in this area, I believe.
Yeah, we're fortunate. I mean, obviously we preach location a fair amount when we're talking to potential investors or current shareholders. We certainly, if you haven't been up there, it's a very the location is really second to none. You're right off a major highway, not the nicest highway in the winter time, but we're also over that sort of rain shadow effect where you get a lot of the precipitation. So when you come into the Merritt area, where we're about half an hour south of Merritt, it's a fairly semi-dry, semi-arid area. We do have snow there, yes, but when you're that close off a plowed highway, for us, it's not too big a deal to just plow our road into the drill. So it's a very nice, unique advantage.
Excellent. And you mentioned earlier you've done quite a lot of geophysics. Tell us what you've done there, and maybe you're honing in on some targets there.
Yeah, I mean, as our technical advisor who just joined our team, joined our team last year now, has done some great work, and he's a geophysicist by background, and he's sort of spearheaded our programs as we did quite a bit of CSAMT, which is a resistivity tool, as well as some DC resistivity and magnetics. And what he's done is he says, we got hundreds of targets here. It's a matter of using all the tools we have, including mapping that's been going on in this property well before we had it in 2006. There's geochemistry, there's all sorts of airborne surveys. So we're combining all these and kind of coming up, narrowing down what are our best sort of high priority targets. And not to say we haven't done that every year. We certainly do that, but we're taking the data. We did a lot of geophysics last year, and it's taken some time to really fine tune these and hone in on the right areas and targets. But yeah, we got definitely two new target areas that we'll be touching on, and some of this was discovered last year, the very end of last year, by prospecting too, which of course discovered Franz. So outside of the area, we're putting a lot of focus on this South Zone corridor up towards the 4 kilometers up to the Franz. We got a lot of work to do there drilling, but we also got some really nice regional targets shaping up on the project as well. So it's going to be a busy year.
Absolutely. And in terms of sort of getting hold of drill rigs and assay labs having availability and all that sort of stuff, how's that shaping up in British Columbia?
That's an excellent question, Leo. It's and you know what, we certainly, I myself don't like to make excuses for the labs. It's kind of a common theme amongst our peers that it was a very slow assay turnaround time towards the end of last year, and I think that's a big thing. Was COVID was here at the start of last year. Then they kind of let restrictions down. People all went back to work at the same time, and the gold market jumped. So everybody raised money at the same time and said, well, we need to spend this money. So before you knew it, we weren't the only ones where we were getting assays in 2 to 3 weeks. We've literally just got over 100 days here for assays. And like I said, I'm not putting anyone under the bus here, but we've been patiently waiting for drill holes from November still. We've got back now. We were in a blackout period though because of the financing. So we're hoping to have the remainder of our last year assays out here in the next few days as well. So and drilling on that question, it's been great. We've been fortunate enough to hold on to the same group we've worked with for quite a few years, and they know the area well. So yeah, it was really no secret or no surprises there working with Titan and the crew. So it's been we've been fortunate on that end. But assays, we're told, are going to improve here. They've added some prep labs, doing everything they can. So we've been reassured it's going to be a lot less than sort of 3-month turnaround to start this year.
So you've still got some assay results on the way, and as you mentioned, you've got a lot of drilling and interesting looking prospects to delve into over the course of the year, and money in the bank to pay for it. The 50 million you raised, how long do you expect that money to last?
If we have anything similar to, I mean, we're using this, you know, we obviously have in fact, we're meeting next week as a group in Merritt to come up with a finalized sort of budget here, but we'll be well into 22 next year with the current amount of money we have in terms of drilling the 40,000 meters well into next year. So we're you know, very, very happy about that. And, you know, obviously thank the investors here, because it's with the way gold is going here, it's you never know. So for us to be really well financed here for the next sort of 18 months, it's a great thing for our shareholders, and the ability, we don't have to go to market anytime soon. So it's nice.
Nice position to be in. But you know, thank you very much for your update there, Gareth. And you know, good luck for the year ahead and all those targets you'll be looking into. We look forward to seeing the results as they come out.
Appreciate it, Leo.
Thank you, Gareth.